What's up, Louis? It's Guys here. Hope you're doing great. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact process I follow to read and understand body corporate financial statements. If you are someone that is considering investing in a sectional title property, or maybe you already own one, or you are considering living in one of these properties, this video is for you. I decided to make this video so that you guys can save money and save time, because I had to go through these issues on my own. So by the end of this video, you will have the necessary skills to read and understand these statements and to see through all the issues that these complexes and sectional title properties face. I want you to be able to have the knowledge to confidently invest in these properties no matter what. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you guys a specific tip or trick that I use to quickly find out what's going on with these sectional title properties and whether it's going to cost me a lot of money or not. This is a trick that I love to use because it saves me a lot of time and a lot of money. With that said, let's jump straight into it. I own a lot of sectional title properties and many of them are great investments, but I made a few mistakes with some of them, and I hope this video can help you to avoid those mistakes. The first thing we need to do is to get access to our body corporate financial statements. Whether you already own the property or you are considering investing in the property, you need to get access to the latest financial statements. The only way you can get these is with the body corporate itself. So if you are an owner of a property, you have the full right to request the latest annual financial statements directly from your body corporate. This is simply an email away, so make sure if you haven't seen them already to get access to them and reach out to your body corporate directly. If you are an investor considering buying into a sectional title property, but you want to make sure that you see the financial statements before you make an offer or before you get a loan for that property, the best way to approach it is to put a special condition in your offer to purchase, which states this offer to purchase is subject to and conditional upon the purchaser reviewing and approving the latest financial statements. By putting this into your OTP, you will have the opportunity to review these statements and approve whether you are happy with the condition of the complex or not. Most of the time, people forget completely about these statements. They buy the complex and only get access to these statements later on. Make sure you consult with your real estate agent and express your concern about the financial position of the complex. And if the real estate agent has no idea what you are talking about, you are probably working with an inexperienced agent. With that said, let's jump straight into it. So let's say we have access to our annual financial statements, and most of the time this is a really overwhelming document because there's so much stuff going on, and I'm going to try to simplify this and make it easy for you guys to follow along and actually understand. We can see that this document has a couple of pages, and we'll jump straight into the index, and I wanted to show you guys exactly what we are going to focus on. You can take the time to read through all the details, but to make it easier for this video, what we are going to focus on is the statement of financial position, the detailed income statement, the statement of cash flow, and then of course the notes to the financial statements, which is really important. So if we scroll down, we can see that we can head to page number 8, and this is where the juicy information starts. This is known as a balance sheet or a statement of financial position, which effectively shares all the assets and liabilities of the sectional title. So here we can see under assets we have non-current assets and current assets. The difference between the two is that current assets can be sold off and effectively be converted into cash or cash equivalents within 12 months, and non-current assets can't be converted before 12 months. Usually this is something that's much more difficult to convert into cash. Before we continue, there's a part that says notes on the top, and this is going to be a very important part of these statements. So you'll see random numbers next to all of these items, and this is a great way that we can make sure what exactly is going on with this specific line item, and I'll show you guys exactly in just a couple of minutes. So here we can see that the complex has 216,000 Rand of deposits, but what I want to focus on is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is simply money that the company or the complex still needs to receive, and here we can see on notes it's number 4. So if we scroll down to the notes, here we can see the portion where it says number 4 and accounts receivable, and this is the accounts receivable, which is your levies outstanding. And this is very important because this simply means that 416,000 Rand is still owed to this complex. So this is the accounts receivable. So that's why the notes of the annual financial statements is so important, because we can track and find out exactly what each line item actually means. If we go back to the statement of financial position, here we can see that the body corporate has cash and cash equivalents of 63,000 Rand, which is a massive decline compared to the previous year of 329,000 Rand. So seeing a decline year over year is not a very good sign, as well as seeing a massive amount of accounts receivable, which, like we confirmed, is because of outstanding levies. Next, if we see the total assets, it will simply show us what exactly the total assets of the complex is. And again, it's a decline from the previous year, which isn't necessarily a very good sign. If we scroll down to the liabilities, and this is where it gets interesting. So when we go to our reserves and liabilities, here we can see our maintenance reserves for the year is around 946,000 Rand, which is also something we'll check on at the notes. And our administrative fund is a deficit of 3.5 million Rand. At this moment, I'm not sure exactly what is going on, but this does not look good, and that's why we have to investigate further. Next, if we look at our current liabilities, which is liabilities that is due within the next 12 months, we can see that there's accounts payable of a massive 3.2 million Rand compared to the previous year, which was already very high of 1.4 million Rand. So we want to make sure we understand what exactly is going on over here, and we can go to our notes number 7 so that we can investigate more. So if I scroll down and we go to accounts payable, this is actually all the money that needs to be paid from the body corporate or the complex to its providers or its contractors or whatever it might be. So if we scroll down, we can actually see all the companies that needs to be paid. So the first thing that pops up is this massive Mangaung municipality bill of 2.397 million Rand, which is very scary to see. Like we can see, compared to the previous year, it has increased quite a bit. You can actually take the time and go through all of these accounts payable and look for something that might seem a bit sketchy. So at the end of the day, the total funds and liabilities that this complex has is around 697,000 Rand, and it's a massive decline compared to the previous year. Then we'll scroll down to the detailed income statement, and this is where you can go through the income and expenses of the complex. Here we can see that there was a special levy raised in 2022 where they raised 782,000 Rand, which means that they had to use this special levy for a specific region, which already raises quite a few questions. There's just a small amount recovered in the latest year, but the ordinary levies was around 3.9 million Rand, which is less than the previous year. Again, they are struggling to get payments for all of their levies. Here it will also show you the income that the complex receives, like clearance, fines, insurance claims, insurance excess, interest receives, and towers rent, which gives them a total income of 483,000 Rand. So this is basically the income that the company or the complex receives. Then we get to the expenditures, which is simply all of the expenses. Again, this is a great place to go through all of the details and see what is something that looks a bit sketchy. Accounting fees looks normal, auditors remuneration, bank charges, cleaning, DSTV expenses, gifts, insurance, insurance claims paid. There's so many different things like managing fees, meetings, municipal charges, which is the most important one. And there's other stuff like professional fees, removals, repairs, and maintenance as well. Again, we can see that the repairs and maintenance compared to the previous year has gone up quite a bit. So there was a lot of repairs done in the complex. Something else we can look at is the security. The security expenses in a year has gone up with a massive 100,000 Rand, which is quite a lot. At the end of the day, we can see that this complex is actually running at a deficit of 2.14 million Rand. That means that this complex is shorting 2.1 million Rand to run the complex correctly. This is a bad sign, and this is why it's important to go through all of these documents. Then we'll scroll down to the part where it shows the statement of cash flow, and what I wanted to show you guys here is that at the end of the day, the cash and cash equivalents at the end of this year has gone down from 329,000 Rand to 63,000 Rand. This is mainly due to the increase in trade and other payables, like we mentioned. So here we can see at number 10 the municipal charges, which consists of electricity and water. And what I wanted to show you guys is the total net municipal charges which is owed to the municipality of a massive 2.2 million Rand. This is really troublesome to see because this complex definitely has a water issue, which I don't know why, but we can clearly see it on the financial statements. Before I share the tip that helped me save a lot of money and a lot of time, here's actually a part on the statements that shows you exactly how much money the people in the complex owes. So it simply shows a lot of people's names with the unit numbers, and here we can actually see the amount of outstanding levies for each and every person. Again, people that owe more than 90 days will show on the left hand side, and here we can see people owe 14,000, 19,000, 17,000, 11,000. There's large amounts like 12,000, 17,000, 14,000. So here's a guy with 29 and 27,000, and the interesting thing is it's always the same people, or always the guy that owns more than one property that owes a lot of money. If we scroll down, we can see the total of 284,000 Rand, which is owed more than 90 days. So this is really troublesome to see. And the only way you can actually figure this out is to go through the financial statements and take the time and look through everything. I wanted to show you guys one last very important tip that has saved me a lot of time and a lot of money. Like you saw now, taking the time to go through the annual financial statements is a tedious process, and it does take some time. If you wanted to get a quick look at what's going on with a complex, there's a simpler way to do this. You can simply get access to your latest meeting minutes. This is something that you can also add to your contract or your offer to purchase, and this is something you can get from the body corporate directly, or you can ask the agent to help you get these documents. Let's jump straight into it, and I wanted to show you why this is such a good way to get started, to get the right information on any type of complex. So if I open the body corporate statements, I'm going to scroll down where it shows report back. So if we scroll down, we can see the reason for this meeting is based on the approval of the proposed budget. And if we read further, we can see that the meeting was with regards to the municipal arrears of 2.4 million Rand. So immediately, just based on this part, we can see that there's municipal arrears of 2.4 million Rand. We can quickly identify, okay, there's an issue of arrears of 2.4 million Rand. Why is this the case? So it just makes it much easier for you to identify what the hell is actually going on. Something that I highlighted was that they made 3 proposals at the end of the meeting so that they can tackle the exact problem. The first proposal was that the trustees implement a 10% levy increase, and the second proposal was that a special levy be raised to service the municipal debt, and the third proposal was that the budget is deferred to the next AGM. At the end, we can see that there's no solution for the issue of the Mangaung arrears just yet. And this brings up the question, what exactly is going to happen with that large amount? At the end of the day, you need to realize that if you own a sectional title property, you will be held liable for all the expenses of that complex. And this just again proves the importance of going through these documents, because let's say you bought a property and you were not aware of this issue and they keep on raising the levies or implement a special levy and you have no idea what it's for. By going through the annual financial statements and looking at the latest meeting minutes, you can find out exactly what is going on, whether it's your own property or whether you want to invest in that property. With that said, if you wanted to find out more about the mistakes that has cost me millions of rands, make sure to check out this video that I made about sectional title properties, and I'm sure that you will learn a lot from this video as well.